Hey guys, I have not posted anything for a while, just super busy with the game, and of course I have some challenges with the development. It is part of the process, but it is going very well and I want to make a noticeable progress before making the next devlog. But nonetheless, I have said that I'm going to make this video talking about the game. I mean, what is this game I'm making? I guess everyone has the right to ask that question, including me, because I'm still figuring that out myself. But I have a vision, and today I want to share this vision with you, with lore, gameplay mechanics, the game feel and atmosphere I want to achieve, and more. But keep in mind these are just ideas, and anything can be changed, tweaked, or entirely replaced. And I guess I have no further things to say, so let's get started. The story is about a cursed lad named Valyard who is trying to hunt and kill the lords of the Dark Vessels. What are the Dark Vessels, you may ask? Well, it is a long story, and if you want to read more about the lore, check my blog below. You will find more info that I can put in just one video, and I will be updating it once in a while. Anyway, to get the idea of what a Dark Vessel is, you need to know something about this world. The world is always generating life energy, called the fabric of existence. This energy maintains the world's existence and life. However, the world cannot stop creating it. So after thousands of years, it needs to create a vessel to contain this overloaded energy. And that's how a god is created. And yes, gods in this universe did not create the world, but it is the opposite. But they call themselves gods because they have tremendous power other beings do not have. Who and how the world is created, no one knows, even those who call themselves gods. So the gods are the normal vessels for the energy the world creates. They are the successful attempts, if so to speak. The dark vessels are the failed ones. Instead of creating a god, a twisted, mindless dark creature is created. And there are countless of them that has been shaped before the first god came into existence. Named Arnos, the father of the gods, and the first god that has been created, the one who witnessed the creation of all gods that came after him, and he is the one who sealed all the dark vessels into a cursed box, so normal life can take form. But because Valyard, our player who has born thousands of years after this event, is trying to kill them, means that they have escaped somehow. And there are lords for them now. How that happened? What happened to that cursed box? What happened to the gods? And why Valyard, our protagonist, is trying to hunt them in the first place? What is his motivation? And why he is cursed? And what kind of curse is that? Well, maybe the game will have answers for all of these questions. The history of this lore is split into ages, defined by major events. And the time of the game is the very present in this timeline, right here. I chose this time because, first, I do not have the budget to make games in the previous ages because there were many intense events there. And secondly, I want this game to tell stories of this world, about what happened, to make people wonder and ask questions. And the most importantly, to see if this world is interesting in the first place. I mean, if I think it is interesting, that's cool, but that is just me. That does not mean it is interesting for other people. But I hope it is. So, this was a brief look at the lore, and as I said, all of this is still in the making. But make sure to check the blog in the link below to learn more about the lore of this game. For now, there is just the first chapter, if you call it a chapter, but I will be updating it once in a while when there is something I feel it is okay to share before the game release. So, yeah. Now, let's talk about the most important aspects in any game, the gameplay. The presence of the story in the game will be important, but not the primary focus, because, let's be honest, I am not a writer. I just hope I will make something good enough to make the game's lore interesting and to feel there is something worth playing for. But this is a game, and what matters most in a game is the gameplay and its mechanics. So what are they in my game? Well, I have no fucking idea. Alright, I have some ideas. In fact, I have many ideas, but they are kinda risky, and there is a chance to be either great or terrible. It is up to the execution of those ideas, and it is not easy. I will talk about the challenges I will have later in this video, but first let me explain what the gameplay looks like in the game. And let's start with the game genre. The game genre is roguelike. To be more precise, it is a roguelite. To be more precise, it is neither of them. Let me explain. So what is a roguelike? Both roguelikes and roguelites have the same game loop. You have a hub, it is your starting point, and it is the place where you can upgrade your character, select a weapon for your next run, talk to NPCs and more. And you have the destination, the place you need to reach, or the target of the game. And you need to fight your way to that target. If you die, however, you respawn in your hub and then you can prepare for your next run. For example, in Hades, when you die in the underworld, you don't really die because you are indeed in the realm of the dead. So the game respawns you back to the house of Hades, the hub that we were just talking about. This game loop could be very rewarding, but it could be very frustrating as well, because you are replaying the same thing over and over again. So you need to make each run feel unique, that it's worth something, that there is progress even you are dying multiple times. You can achieve that in many ways. For example, make the story carries on every time you die. Each time you die, the NPCs have more dialogues to say based on what you did in the previous runs. Or every time you die, you don't come back empty-handed. You collect some sort of coins or points to upgrade your character for the next run. Which is, by the way, this is technically not a roguelike at this point, but rather a roguelite. Because roguelikes have absolute permadeath, meaning you don't get any elements or items that can make you stronger for your next runs. The only thing that will get you through the game is your skills and your knowledge of the game's mechanics. So you need to understand the difference, although some games call themselves roguelikes when they are in reality roguelites, which I don't think is a big deal, but I guess sometimes it is important to differentiate between them. Another important thing that most roguelikes and roguelites do, if not all of them, is procedural generation levels. So the light of the levels completely changes every run, which prevents the game from becoming very easy by memorizing the levels, and also gives the game more replayability value. So all of this could make a roguelike game a very rewarding experience if those elements were done right. However, for me, I think it still have some issues. And let me take the best roguelike game in my opinion as an example. Hades. Hades is not just the best roguelike game I have played, but it is one of the best games I have ever played in any genre. It is easily in my top 10 games of all time. But I have some issues with it. In fact, it is one issue. In the early hours of the game, dying was not that frustrating, or let's say doing another run after dying was so easy for me. But after many hours, I started to go far in my runs, like real far, and then die. I rarely do another run after that because I can't imagine myself going all the way again. It is kinda exhausting. So I shut down the game and go back tomorrow or so with new energy. And that is why roguelikes are really good in my opinion. Coming back to them is very welcoming even after months. Just put up the damn thing and have fun. Somehow, and especially in Hades, it never gets old. At least before going so far in your run and just die. Maybe this is just a me problem, maybe others do not have this issue with roguelikes, but I find that a very crucial issue in the roguelikes game design. The roguelike genre is truly unique, but it is so hard to make a good roguelike game without some compromises. So what I want to do to reduce the impact of this issue is instead of making one hub, there are multiple hubs. Their name in the game is Shrines of Resurrection. And by the way, this is a placeholder name, it may or may not change. Anyway, you start from the first one and you make your way to the second one. If you died before that, you respawn at the last hub or shrine you were at. If you reach the target, it will be your new hub and you can go from there. And sometimes you may need to return to the previous shrines because you have something there that you need or you missed. So you need to prepare yourself and fight your way back again. And you get the idea. Now I hear what you are saying. Aren't those just checkpoints, but they are very away from each other? Well,
Goddamn right.
yeah, if you think about it, they are indeed checkpoints. However, I guess it will give you the feeling that you are fighting your way to something. That when you die, I want that feeling of, damn, I was so close to the next shrine. I want to see what is in there. And when you actually do it, you get that reward. That this is your new major checkpoint. You deserve it. You fought for it. And you start to think for your next target. So yeah, they are checkpoints, but they are very rewarding ones. That is how I want to think about it. But if I would go with this road, it can easily have a backfire effect, because it is kind of confusing to tell what the genre of the game is. The player will be like, what is this game? Why these checkpoints are very away from each other? So I need to be very clear that this is a roguelike game, but just a different one. But can I really say this? That this is a roguelike game? I honestly don't know. Nonetheless, I guess it is worth the risk. I believe it has a good chance to give a fun and rewarding experience. But of course, those are just wishes. I can only know when I prototype this. So, time will tell. Moving on to another mechanic that I want to add to the game, which is a double health system. Valiard has two types of health, normal health and dark health. If either of them hits 0, the player is dead. If the dark health maxes out, the player is dead. Dark health will increase as you slay enemies. The more dark health you have, the more powerful your attacks become. And there will be many ways to prevent the dark health from maxing out. The most useful one is to convert it to normal health. But you must be careful, because you need to stop moving to do so. Something like focus in Hollow Knight, which can leave you vulnerable to enemies' attacks. The goal of this mechanic is to make the player think carefully about their attacks, when to attack, when to heal, and whether to take an opportunity to decrease the dark health or keep it to stay more powerful. However, who knows, maybe you won't get another chance to do so. So are you willing to take the risk? However, this mechanic also has many flaws that I need to address if I'm serious about implementing it. For example, what happens if you are already at full health? How will you get rid of the dark health? And is it fun or enjoyable to constantly check both bars while fighting in the first place? Wouldn't that be frustrating instead of engaging? And if it is frustrating, how to make it fun instead? So yeah, I'm still not sure about this one. It clearly needs a lot of thinking and testing to see if it will work. Another element I'm considering adding is something called in-game Shards of Chaos, similar to charms in Hollow Knight. These would be items that you can equip to gain additional abilities. And of course there will be a limitation on how many shards you can equip on your weapon at one time. However, in my case, these shards would grant you certain buffs but also come with curses, such as plus 10% movement speed but a minus 4% attack damage. Once more, it raises the question, are you willing to make compromises? And I'm planning that magic is also present in the game, alongside spells, potions, tools, goods and valuable items that you can gather from your runs. This way, every run feels like it's worth something. I did not talk about enemies, bosses, NPCs, the world design and many other things because I'm still figuring this out myself. I want to take time thinking about what is perfect to do and what I can do. And at this point, I guess it is a good time to start talking about the big challenges I will have. There is many challenges of course in any game development journey, but as I said in my first devlog, art is the primary obstacle for me. And especially for this game, because there is environment art, character design, modeling, UI, and many other aspects that I don't know how to do. And it could become too difficult to do all of this by myself. Therefore, one of my primary targets is to find a good art style that looks great, but it is relatively not hard to make. Music is another huge challenge. I need to learn that as well, how to make music and sound effects, and I have no idea where to start. Storytelling in games. how to tell a good story in a good way with fewer resources. And I am a big believer that video games has its own unique way of storytelling, and I need to know how to do that as well. Marketing, because making a great game is good, but it is useless if no one knows that your game exists in the first place. Securing some sort of funding or support, and if that goes well, I won't have to tackle all of these tasks on my own, or at least I'll have the opportunity to work on it full time. Acquiring funding or support is, in my opinion, the most challenging aspect in game development. Working on the channel and the game at the same time. Making a game is hard, and making a game and creating videos for your game is harder. Not to mention other types of videos that I wanna make for this channel. And the list of challenges continues. However, the good thing is I'm aware of these challenges, and I will do my best to make a great game that you will love, and that's all. Please feel absolutely free to critique whatever bullshit I have said in this video. It will be very helpful to see what you think. Your comments and opinions are always welcome with heart. Also join us on Discord if you want, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter, or I guess it is X now. I will be sharing more stuff there about the development progress than the channel. And that's it. I better go back to work on the game. Wish me luck, and see you in the next one.